this is more compelling when we talk about Shohei Ohtani, the DH, versus Francisco Lindor. And we've already did a good amount of Ohtani chat at the end of last week and on Monday. So let's bring Lindor into the conversation. Let's make the case for Lindor. Let's try to. Okay. Well, why don't you go ahead and try to make the case for Lindor?
Sure. He plays shortstop every day incredibly well. The value of that is immense. There are very few humans that can play an average defensive shortstop at the major league level, let alone people who can play elite shortstop defense. Francisco Lindor is doing that while simultaneously being a well above average hitter. He is not an elite hitter right now. He's not having an elite offensive season. He's having a very, very, very good offensive season. If you go by WRC plus, he is 19th in baseball, right? Very, very, very good. But to do that while playing great defense at a premium position is a true rarity, and he deserves to be recognized and commended for having that skill set, a skill set that arguably, okay, I don't believe what I'm about to say, Ohtani's power speed combo is amazing. Lindor's defense offense combo is better. I actually think I do believe that. Like, it is more impressive to me that Lindor can do the defense and the hitting than Ohtani can do the running and the hitting. Now, yes, Ohtani can do the pitching and the hitting. I'm well aware. I think that is obviously
not right now. Yeah. I mean, and also Lindor is going to go 30-30 for the third time in his career, or I guess the second time in his career. But he's, he went 30-30 last year, and he finished 9th in the MVP. I mean, the fact that this guy's never finished above 5th in MVP voting, he hasn't. He finished 9th last year. He finished 9th in 2022. He finished 9th in his second year in the league in Cleveland. He finished top 6 in 2017, 2018. It's been the same. It's been so steady. And I think because of the lack of other candidates, it feels like, and because he's been so obviously the Mets' best player this year, in a way that even recently, when we've seen the seasons that Pete was having, or the seasons that even Nimmo is having, that we oddly were not nearly as focused enough on this guy, even though he's been exactly what they could have possibly hoped for since they traded for him and extended it. But it feels like he's the one that is keeping this Mets team feeling like a contender, because it's like, oh, they have Francisco Lindor. Like, of course, that's a good baseball team. And that is an achievement in and of itself, because while, yes, they have some other good hitters, we know that, and listen, I don't know if the Mets are going to make the postseason. It's certainly not looking super awesome with the way that the Braves have started playing recently. We know what San Diego and Arizona have done. So it's not looking great. I think their playoff odds are still around 15, 20%. Like, they're not totally toast. But I do think that for whatever reason, this is the season where we've been like, hey, wait a minute, especially after he wasn't an all-star and how well he's played since he wasn't an all-star. I mean, earlier this season, I was like, I don't know, like, is he really having that different of a year offensively? And he's picked it up. He's been a way better, just overall productive hitter over the last month and a half or so. And so, yeah, I mean, he's as steady as it comes. And while, comparing that to Ohtani is still a little bit tough, because I just think that Ohtani's ability to kind of elevate even within his Dodgers super team is pretty remarkable as well. I mean, this is also one that, okay, so do you view this as closer as the other one or no?
Yeah. But okay, I also would vote for Ohtani pretty swiftly.
Yeah.
My biggest pause with Ohtani is the DH. I think that playing in the field every day, the wear and tear that has on your body and the energy it sucks out of you, literally, this is going to sound stupid, standing in the sun, right? Go outside and stand in the sun in 15-minute intervals.
Shohei hasn't had to do that. all
He
year.
doesn't have to do that. I talked to Kyle Schwarber. I'm in Philly right now. I talked to him yesterday about DHing for a long time, and he was like, I feel healthier than I felt in years. Because you're just not diving around. Like, your body's not taking that wear and tear. And Ohtani, obviously, it's slightly different because he's a pitcher, right? But
Right, and he's rehabbing,
Sure. He's rehabbing. But the DH element of it does give me pause. That being said, I think Ohtani saying, I'm going to run this year, and then stealing 40 bags is preposterous. It's ridiculous. It is outrageous. And I think it's easy to forget what we were saying about Shohei Ohtani in late March. The Ippei stuff.
Mm-hmm.
His season, the excellence of his season, has taken that out of the conversation completely. Do you remember it was the biggest story in sports for a week?
Yeah.
Ippei and Ohtani. And Ohtani has just been so good that it just hasn't been talked about. And you could imagine a world where if he was substandard at all, where it was like, oh man, is it affecting him? Nope, not at all. Doesn't matter. 41 bombs, 40 bags. I would vote for Ohtani. Now, again, I would give the National League MVP to Bobby Witt Jr. Right now. I know we can't do that. I would also like to fly.
No, we can't.
But I can't.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point to just remember what he was dealing with.
How is this going to affect Ohtani? Not at all. It appears
he's going to be even better.
It appears that Will Ireton also knows English and Japanese.
Yeah. Also, the DH thing is interesting because it's the spirit of it is he's it's like, oh, he's a DH, but he's not a DH.
No.
He is a DH because he needs to be a DH, but not because he's Darren Ruff. You know what I mean? That is the position he happens to be playing. Now, again, that doesn't mean you can't judge it, use it against him. But I like that he's essentially, by running and maybe going 50-50, he's kind of gone out of his way to be to make you forget that he's a DH, which is
I'm
awesome.
Not your normal
I think
DH.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I think that, WAR-wise, he's probably going to end up having the greatest DH season we've ever seen. And yes, of course, there's Edgar seasons and David Ortiz seasons offensively that are comparable to what Ohtani's doing. But yeah, you add in the speed component and just the base running and what that kind of does for the Dodgers offense, and it's not insignificant. So yeah, if he goes 50-50, it's not even going to be questioned. It's like, sorry, he's already 40-40 probably is enough to make it easy. And you could say, oh, but Lindor 30-30 with a short side. This is fine. But I think, I don't know. I think Ohtani is farther ahead than Judge is ahead of Witt. So
okay,
which I think is what you said. But
anyway. I think you're underrating Aaron Judge, and you think he's a bum. All right, let's take a break, and when we get back, as Jordan shakes his head, when we get back, we will talk about Bobby Witt Jr.'s Kansas City Royals and bop around the traps. And welcome back to Baseball Barbacast. Jake Mintz, Jordan Shusterman. So just very quickly, one more Ohtani thing. I have in front of me on Fangraphs the most steals by a designated hitter in a season.
He set this record like a month and a half ago, but it's also kind of goofy
by primary position, right?
Yeah,
whatever that means.
Yeah,
the number one stolen base season by a designated hitter is held by Lidom legend Luis Polonia, who stole 51 bags in 1992. How many home runs did Luis Polonia hit that season? 0. He hit 0 home runs as the DH for the 1992 California Angels. 51 bags, 0 bombs. Ohtani is a freak.